And I got another Yu Yu Hakusho battle, right? It's between Hiei and Yomi. So Hiei is the third eye Amiko, the child that was rejected from his peoples, but he became very powerful, right? And he sought to, reunite with his sister, right? So he got a Jagan implant, which made him even more powerful. Um, he was weakened though for a period of time. He went into human world to find his sister, right? Um, he met up with Kurama, Goki. They went and then they met up with Yusuke, and he stayed with Yusuke after some time. Went to the dark tournament. He cooked people. He cooked people. Um, you know, and then eventually he became Makuro's right hand man. And then when Yusuke proposed the Demon World tournament, he fought against Makuro, and he actually held back in that fight. That's what I need people to understand about that shit. He actually did hold back. She was holding back too, but he was he was definitely holding back himself. Because if you know, and he was kind of holding himself back the whole series too. Because remember, he never took his full demon form after season one. You know, it might be a funny thing, or weird because we know he hate human beings, right? But in the form we see him in, like throughout the series, he's more human, right? So like subconsciously, maybe he was like, humans ain't that bad. I don't need to go into my full green demon form. That's a little bit ugly, And but it's funny because you know how he says, oh, I don't like human beings. They're so weak. They're so this, they're so that. But then he just remains in his human, more human like state the whole series. You know, if he actually, used that form, he would have beat Makuro. Not easily, but extreme diff. Now the next guy is Yomi. Yomi. Yomi was one of the demon kings of Demon World. We know that he fought Yusuke. Well, he fought his son first. And he was gonna beat his son. He just had more experience and he was just more powerful. He humbled him and shit, right? Then he fought against Yusuke, who was also like a child to him, but he was impressed because Yusuke awakened his, Mazaku blood, and then they had basically, Yusuke caught a second win and they ended up fighting, which Yomi was able to hold on and beat Yusuke extreme difficulty. And Yusuke actually took that L. He didn't win that fight. So these two are gonna fight each other, in Demon World. Um, strength goes to Yomi. Physical strength goes to Yomi. Yomi, he's strong, right? He's on par with a weakened Rising and Makuro. And then Yusuke, he was overpowering Yusuke after some time. Speed, I give that shit to Hiei. Hiei is basically the fastest character in Yu Yu Hakusho, if you ask me. Maybe Rising is faster, but other than that, he's the fastest. Durability wise, that shit goes to Yomi. He was eating some of those punches from Urameshi, and Urameshi's punches are not fucking weak, right? Endurance wise goes to Yomi. He was able to, match Yusuke's second win. He was like, oh, he powered up into a real demon now. Let's keep going. I'm, invigorated by this. This shit's, this is what I've been needing for a while. You know, I'll indulge this fight kind of shit, right? Intelligence goes to Yomi. He is not a dumb fighter, but Yomi, he's smart too. He learned from Kurama. Like he actually learned from his mistakes. Like in the past, he was kind of like very aggressive and um, what's the word, reckless, right? But then he like sat back and was like, no, there's times where I need to be like that, and there's times where I need to just not do that shit. There's a time and a place for it. Experience goes to Yomi. Yomi, I believe he's an older demon than Hiei. Close skills go to Yomi. Like I said, he was boxing against Yomeshi. Now I ain't saying, Hiei had his little bout against Yomeshi. But he was getting hands, put on him in that fight. Range skills go to Hiei though. He has the darkness flame at his command. Recovery goes to Yomi, and then hacks go to Yomi as well. When it comes down to that darkness flame, right? This is the fucked up thing about that, right? The demon absorption law can protect Yomi from that. So for me, this is how I would utilize the darkness flame if I was here, right? I would, let the dragon become the dragon myself. You know how he did against Sensui, and run up on him and like fisticuff that shit. Now he's still at a disadvantage somewhat because I also gave Yomi the close skills. He was boxing against Yomeshi, right? And he was doing better than he was. But at least then he could like do some damage. And it will be some time before Yomi realizes, hey, he's actually empowered by the darkness flame. And he won't be able to put up the absorption wall and fight at the same time. Environment goes to Yomi. But this fight goes to Yomi, high difficulty. You guys, let me know what you think about this fight in the comments too, and be cool. Go on.